Hi guys, this is your very own bestie, and I'm here again. It's been a while. Oh my god, it's been almost a whole year since I recorded a YouTube video, and I just felt I should let you guys know how I'm doing, right? Yeah, because the last time I filmed, I was about to complete my PSC internship, but now I completed in January 2025. So welcome. So first of all, today is 26th December. This is a day after Christmas, so I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas. Now we're going straight into the testimony, how God gave me my first job after my PSC internship. So let's start. I was cohort 6 of PSC internship, as many of you already know. Then during that period, I feel like before I tell you how I got the job, I should start by giving you history. So when I began my PSC internship, I went to a place whereby there was no enough government budget. If you're in government, then you most likely understand that. So with that, there was not much work to do, right? You know, to do anything in government, you actually need money. So there was not much to do. And there were so many employees at the place where I was interning. So that meant that if there was any kind of work, they would get it and the interns would just be there. In short, we were idle, as many interns usually are. So I remember during that period, I started in on February 4th, okay? Then within that month, I realized that we were so idle, and I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life, because I would basically just be going there, I watch movies, and then I go back home, and we would just make stories. I was the only girl at the place where I was interning, so it was just boys, like 4 boys and me, 1 girl in that room. So you can imagine the kind of conversations that we were having. As luck would have it, I was moved to another office where I was now by myself, and I thought, how will I make the best out of myself? Because I basically was going just to the office just to drink tea and going back home. Nikasema hapana. So I started by reading books. I just was buying books in the street, like this is inauzwanga 500 shillings. During that period, I read The Mountain Is You, Atomic Habits, etc. And then, of course, sikuwa nasoma all the time. I would read, then go online. So I saw during that period, they were advertising a lot of lecture courses. So I started doing them. I started with AICE, which is Artificial Intelligence Career Essentials Program. Then I gained skills, because you know, when you start your internship, most likely you have no work experience. Like, I know there are people who get the internship after they have gained some experience in the outside world, but me, I was fresh out of school. I didn't have any relevant work experience, trust me. So what I did after I did that course, Artificial Intelligence Career Essentials Program from ALX, it was free at that time, but now they are charging. So I did it, and by the end of that, it was a way of me, number one, using my time well, right? Because being idle, that's not the best, trust me. So, and I realized by the end of that program, I had gained some skills, right? Then I just started paying attention, looking at the place where I was. What were they doing mostly? I realized that they were mostly trying to get budget for the directorate. See, I've told you there was no money, there was no enough budget. Now they were trying to write concept notes to attract funding in that directorate. So now with the skills I had learned on ALX about artificial intelligence, I just started prompting and writing concept notes, reading etc. And I would just send the concept notes. Imagine I was giving my own self assignments, like nobody was giving me this assignment. I was just going, I look, okay, what do they mostly do? I do the same thing And then I sent them to my director, I sent them to my boss, my supervisor, etc. I just kept writing and sending things that nobody was asking me to do. I was also trying to come up with solutions. For example, I realized that the directorate where I was working, there was no visibility. Like, they didn't have a LinkedIn page, they didn't have any of that, right? So most of the work that they do is not put out there, which means they don't have visibility, which also means it's not easy for them to attract funding to the directorate. So I came up with a plan. I went to talk to my director about how we can start a LinkedIn profile. Like, it was just one of the ways, one of the solutions I started giving. It didn't take time, and I was noticed as someone who goes after what they want in life. And yeah, that's where the journey started. So fast forward, during this period, after I completed the IICE, Artificial Intelligence Career Essentials program, I immediately enrolled for another course, which is virtual assistance from ALX. If you know, for me, when I even started, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, I think God was guiding me. Actually, I believe God was guiding me. But for me, I was just like, I don't want to keep being idle. I need to be doing something with my life. So after the AICE, I started doing virtual assistant, right? So now, if you've seen, I was no longer idle the way I was in the beginning of my public service commission internship. And during this period, I not only did these short courses, but I also somewhat got closer to God. There was this time I was feeling some emptiness in me. Like, unajua hiyo situation, that situation whereby you are a public service commission intern, you are trusting God to change your life. You know, once you are praying to God, okay, before you get the internship, you pray to God to get the internship, right? Then right after you get it, you realize this stipend is not enough to cover all your needs, and also you start being stressed about what next, because you know after a period of 1 year you're going to go back to the drawing book and you're going to go back to job hunt. So during that period I was depressed. I was like, the more time went by, and now it was 6 months after my internship, the more I started getting stressed. I was like, okay, so after this, what next? And during this period I was praying. I really sought God, and I went to the prayer mountain. Nimesahau kunaitwa aje, but niko Naivasha. So I remember I went to that place, and I started reading the Bible from page 1. As God would have it, I was one day speaking to one of my friends, and akakuwa zile za like, okay, I do go to a Bible study fellowship, you can join us. In short, during this period, I got closer to God, and I started understanding God more, etc. But this is also a period whereby I was stressed, and I believe that my stress is very much validated, considering that I was in that stage where, imagine, I was living with my mom, right? This was not, my living situation was not what I wanted for myself. I wanted to move out. I wanted to have my own space like I do right now. And I'll give you a room tour, house tour one of these days. I wanted to get a job. I was like, I didn't want to go back to how life was before PSC internship. I wanted to get more earnings so that I can cater for most of my needs. During this period, I also developed an interest, and I started feeling like I wanted to do my master's. Where I was, we were already told that you cannot be absorbed if you don't have a master's, because they are researchers. According to ISO standards, you cannot be a researcher without a master's degree. So during this period, I also started, number one, I've told you, I started doing short courses. Number two, I started doing assignments that nobody had given me. Number three, I got closer to God. I read books, self-help books that kept me positive, and at the same time, they improved my vocabulary. Let me tell you guys, when I was an intern, I couldn't even speak in a meeting. I was so shy. I was like, guy, you know, we would go to these functions, right, where I would serve like an usher or etc. But I knew that one day I wanted to become someone, but I had to overcome this fear of public speaking etc. And I realized that it comes when you're knowledgeable about things. And I'm gonna do another video about public speaking. If you're someone who struggles with public speaking, then you're also in the right place, because I'm gonna share with you my experience, how it has been. So anyway, so back to how God gave me my first job after PSC internship. So now fast forward to we are in October, towards the end of the year, and the stress was too much, I'm telling you, because I was literally counting just a few months to the end of my internship, and then now I have to start thinking about what next. Now I was just dependent on God. I didn't have someone who had promised me a job. I didn't know what next. I didn't know anything. So I was just applying. I was like, the moment I leave here, I'm supposed to get into another job. There's no way I'm going back to just sitting at home or struggling the way I was before the PSC internship. I was like, the moment I leave here, I need to have something to do with my life. And then that's why I also started considering masters, because I didn't want to be idle at any point of my life. So I walked to so many universities. Mimi, I got a past degree. I'm not gonna cover that up. I got a past degree. So you know, if you get a past degree, and I graduated December 2022, for the people who got lower, it takes 2 years of work experience for you to get into postgraduate programs like masters. And if you get a pass, most of these universities, they tell you it will take 5 years, it will take 3 years, it will take 4 years, etc. Mind you, I graduated in December 2022, so it had been exactly 2 years since I graduated, but I only had 1 year of relevant work experience, which was my PSC internship. So I went to all these universities looking for a school, etc. But let me tell you, what got me admitted was what supported me. I feel like it was God's will, but I feel like it was God's will, not bad. And the fact that He had guided me, and I had now started doing these short courses, they were like an additional, yeah. So I applied for my master's, and good news, I'm doing my master's. And I know my testimony is all over the place, but please pick what you need, okay? Pick what is important to you in this video. So during that period, I am praying to God. I don't know whether I'll start my master's degree, because I just applied, but the results were not out yet. I didn't know if I was gonna get a job immediately after the PSC internship. I didn't know what was next. Is there anything I didn't try? Guys, I even tried to start a business. Story for another day. I imported with Shiko. If you're a Kenyan, you know Shiko. And things took too long to come, that by the time they came, which is now, I ordered them in 2024, they came in 2025. And by the time they came, I had started my current job, okay? Yeah, God works in mysterious ways. I guess that's not the path God had intended for me. I also ordered sundresses with a certain person on TikTok, Anajita Grace Bondo. This person conned us. Since October, imagine, since October 2024 up to now, we are still waiting for delivery. Guys, isn't that conning? And you know, every time you ask, they tell you, be patient, be patient. That's crazy. So anyway, guys, by this time, I'm trying to do things my way, okay? I'm trying to get solutions. Instead of consulting God, I'm trying to get a way out. Then this goes on, and I get to a point whereby I'm now depressed, and I'm like, God, my situation has to change. The people around me, I felt like my friends were doing better than I was. One was getting married. I went for her wedding. I was a bridesmaid. I visit my other friends, they are living by themselves in very comfortable places, etc. Like you get that part whereby you are happy for your friends, but at the same time it is a reminder of where you could be but you are not, you know. Like it was as though I was the only one who was behind, you know. So anyway, now we get to December, and the 3 days before the end of the year, after Christmas, I decided to do the Esther Fasts. Now, it was not the first time I'm doing Esther Fast. It is something that I've done ever since I was in high school. But I made it a tradition since 2023 December, and now 2024 I'm doing the Esther Fast. And I took my a pen and a paper. I wrote down the things that I want God to do for me. Number one, I wanted God to give me a job where I could earn double the amount that I was earning as a PSC intern. Number two, I wanted to start my master's degree. Remember, I had just applied, but there was no response, so I didn't know if they were. So I was on prayer item number 2, I guess. Yeah, my storage had issues, so I'm back. So prayer item number 2, I wanted God to open doors. I wanted to do that master's, and I know for someone out there, you might feel like it was nothing. Like, see, if you want to do a master's, you just go, you apply, and you start. Let me tell you, mine was a miracle. Mine was a miracle, and I feel like I just need to do another video, yani tu peke yake, for that master's. Mine was a miracle. Every school I went to said I had to have a second class upper to start. Remember, it had not been the required time since I completed campus that I was applying for my master's. But at the same time, God was guiding me all through. Even before I knew I wanted to do my master's, God guided me to do the short courses. You know that Lex programs, the 2 Lex courses that I had done, they're what God used to make me become considered, even without the required amount of time that I was supposed to spend outside before I enrolled for a master's program. God is great, you guys. So I don't know if I've mentioned prayer item number 3. I wanted to move out. I wanted to move out of my mom's house. I wanted to have my own place. You guys know, if you currently live with your parent, you know, we love our parents, but you know how crazy that can get. You know how that crazy can get as an adult. I don't even need to get into it. But my mom and I are besties right now. It was just a problem when we were together. At alone, nimetoka home. I'm just from home. It was Christmas yesterday. We went out. Yeah, I'm back to my place. So yeah, so guys, hata sikumbuki nilikuwa nimefika wapi, because my phone heated up and I had to stop. But I remember I was telling you, yeah, I've remembered. I was telling you there was no way I could have gotten to that if it were not for God. There's no way I could have been accepted for that master's if it were not for God. As you can see, he literally guided me, okay? So as I told you, yeah, if you lived with your parents, you know how that goes. You just crave some time by yourself. That was my prayer item number 3. So, but I don't know what stage you're in your life right now, even as you watch this video. If you're in that season of your life whereby you're trusting God for something, I am asking you, I'm literally begging you, don't stop believing. Don't cancel what God is already preparing, okay? Yeah, let me continue with my testimony. Tumefika hapo December. It's now December date 28, 2024. I start the Esther Fast 28th, 29th, 30th, and now 31st I go for Kesha. Now I'm yet to find a church whereby I can be going on Sundays, but there's this church I usually go to, the one that I used to go as a child. Yeah, so as a child I used to go to Catholic Ikoko Dandora. So every end of the year I do go back there. Okay, so I go to church, I just worship God, I praise him, I just celebrate. I do Kesha, basically what you do during Kesha. and I take my my prayer items, the one that I had written. I have mentioned 3 prayer items, but I also had other wishes that I want. I'm just giving you this because I believe these are things that literally brought you here, right? Yeah, you want to know how God gave me my job after BSc internship. So now I take my prayer items to the altar together with sacrifice. For sacrifice, I gave a little sadaka of what I had worked for, the sweat of my hands, okay? So I take it there and I pray over it. And then, so after taking my prayer request to the altar and praying over it, I go back home. Yeah, by the way, that Kesha si mchezo. Kama watu walikuwa na dance, I really danced. If people were praising and worshiping, I praised and worship. Unaona hata kuzunguka kwa church yenye watu watazunguka like you're just singing songs. Siwezi kumbuka, I can't remember some of the songs we sang, but let's just say I was fully there, okay? So now after Kesha, I go back home and I go back to my normal life. Sasa we are now in January. This will be the last month of my internship. The stress is still there, okay? The stress is still there. In as much as I've prayed, I'm only human. But I continue trusting. One day, my director, she calls me and she tells me, we can't retain you guys, but you've been a good team. You've been a good... Yani, she just commended me. She recognized the efforts I had made. Remember, back then I told you that I started doing the short courses and doing assignments that nobody had told me. So now, she sends me to a certain company, now where I work, and she's like, go there. I've talked to the CEO, go and present your case. See if maybe they can take you. That was before I finished my internship, like around 20th January. So I go, I see the CEO, and he's like, okay, what can you do for me? And I didn't know much about the company at that point, or the position, or even if there's any position. Remember, there was no job vacancy at that place. So he tells me, yeah, so he asked me what I can do for the company. Then I go back for my internship, of course, and I do research on the company, how I can contribute, etc. Then I go back to see him. He told me to go see him immediately when I'm done with my internship. So that was like on 20th January. I finished my internship on 29th. And when I went there, I was told to report on 4th. So when I reported on 4th, I still didn't have a contract or knew what job I was gonna do, etc. Me, I just came, reported to the person I was given as my supervisor, and started working. The CEO had said that he would watch me for like a month, see how I perform, then maybe consider give. So in as much as he had not given me a contract immediately, he had promised that we would have transport and lunch, okay? So we were supposed to be reimbursed by the end of the month, regardless of whether we are going to be kept or not kept. But the goal there was to get a job. So towards the end of the month, my supervisor tells me to go and see the HR. I go to the HR and she's like, who are you? What are you even doing here? You'll have to go home. If there's an opportunity, we'll call you. And I remember I went and prayed and said, God, you brought me here. I've already been working for this month. I've already been accustomed to this culture. You know very well I have nowhere to go. Please help me. And God answered my prayer. Just like that, I got a contract. So there's a long story of how this continues going. But thing is, I finished my internship on 3rd February, and by 4th February I started working. I mean, what can't God do? If you're trusting God for a job right now, okay, I need you to pray. I need you to trust him. Write down the desires of your heart. And if you happen to watch this video before the end of the year, this is the perfect time. Go for Kesha. Start the year with God. You remember that song for Angela Chibalonzo? The foundation has to be God, okay? If you start the year with God, he will be there with you throughout. It's not like it, if you don't start it, he won't be there, because God is faithful, God is merciful, etc. But it is great. There is power in starting the year with God. You don't have to do exactly what I did, but I know God is speaking to you right now. There's a reason why you're watching this video. Listen to your heart. Listen to what God's telling you. Trust in God. God is able. He is able to do it for you. Trust him. Do the right thing, okay? Jitume, because also when we were growing up, we had people saying God helps those who help themselves. I mean, it might sound vague, but it is true, because if you look in the Bible, even for Jesus to turn water into wine, he asked for water, okay? It was always, you were always asked for something, then God blesses it. Go to the altar and tell God to bless the work of your hand. Thank you so much for watching up to this very point. I hope that this video will help one or two people in one way or another. I'm still here. If you are trusting God for a job, we might not know each other, but may this testimony encourage you to keep praying. And when I was praying, by the way, there were times when I didn't feel like it, because I felt like I'm praying, but I'm not getting responses. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on God. Don't ever give up on yourself, okay? Keep trusting, keep believing, and at the right time, our God will make it happen for you. That's all. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So if you've watched up to this very point, please subscribe, because it motivates me to create more videos, okay? I promise you, if you subscribe to my channel, I will keep making more videos. I will be transparent with you so that we can live this life together. If you want to follow me on my social media pages to interact more with me, search me on Instagram. My name is Marion. My name is Marion August Violeta. I'll put something here so that you can see the exact page. TikTok, I'm not so active, but I'll just give you my handle. If you follow me, maybe I will also start creating videos there, okay? Please follow me, guys. I'm your very own bestie. The more you interact with me, the more I'm encouraged to make these videos. And if you do enjoy my vibe, you wanna be here, because you're my very own bestie, okay? Bye. I wish you a Happy New Year in advance. Thank you.